So retirement property, something that conveyancers, unless you're sort of, work in the same town as a McCarthy and Stone development, in which case you will have developed an expertise for this stuff. Of course, as the population gets older, conveyancers are increasingly faced with advising clients on purchasing a retirement property. But I do think it can be a risky area, particularly if the client is sort of elderly, and it sounds a bit ageist, but it is what it is. And of course, if the conveyancer doesn't give this advice very often. So what I'm hoping to do in this webinar is sort of come up with some of the key points that you need to be thinking about. Obviously, not everything. I hope it's a useful introduction for practitioners who are new to this area, but perhaps also a good refresher for more experienced conveyancers. So the things I'm going to cover in this session are very briefly and outline the different forms of retirement property. And you may sort of get involved or have to recognise those, particularly if you've got a sort of healthy private client department that deals with a range of work. Retirement accommodation leases, but in particular, I want to talk to you about the dreaded old event fees. I want to remind you about age restrictions on occupation. And then I sort of want to conclude with a more of a miscellany of issues, really, but risks for conveyancers around the clients who might not have capacity and or who are vulnerable. And again, I think the risks there are that your private client team, it's probably fair to say, if they deal with a sort of an older demographic sort of every day, are going to be much more used to dealing and handling clients who might be on the verge of losing capacity or have more limited mental capacity. That's mental rather than physical capacity, of course. They might be, your private client colleagues might find it easier to recognise when those issues arise. But again, for you, the conveyancer, particularly because, possibly a sale and related purchase of a retirement property are going to be significant, very significant transactions for these clients, possibly the biggest ones they're going to make. It is very important that you have considered issues of mental capacity and sort of made appropriate notes and taken appropriate steps accordingly. So let me just sort of trot through some of the key different types.